Hello, YouTube. It's your boy B3, back with another kicking movie reaction review. Got some more Universal stuff coming for you today. At least I believe this was made by Universal. Yeah, Universal International. The Mole People! Yeah, I've been doing a lot of old Universal sci-fi. The Mole People is from 1956, a sci-fi horror film. Runs about an hour and 17 minutes. Seems to be a relatively well-liked movie. It's got a 5 out of 10 on IMDb, a 43% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 4 out of 5 on Shout Factory, but 88% of Google users liked the movie. So that's pretty cool. That's a lot of people, obviously. So, some scientists, played by John Agar and Hugh Beaumont, at least I think that's how you pronounce his name, Beaumont, maybe? They find a lost underground city of pale people with mutant slaves. The release date was in December of 1956. Directed by Virgil W. Vogel. Screenplay by Laszlo Gorog. The budget was $200,000 US, and it was produced by William Allen. It stars John Agar, who was also the star of the last film we reviewed, Tarantula. This film came out the year after, actually. Hugh Beaumont, obviously, I already mentioned them. Cynthia Patrick, Nestor Paiva, sorry. Alan Napier, who you might know as Alfred from 60s Batman. Frank C. Baxter, and Rod Redwing. So this movie was actually very different than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like people underground being attacked by these mole people. But that really wasn't the case at all. There are these archaeologists, and they get trapped underground, and they run into this ancient, this society that's kind of grown from Sumerian society, but since they've been trapped underground for so long with little to no resources, they haven't really progressed much technology-wise, or even really socially, to be honest. And they have, the mole people are actually their slaves, because the mole people can do a bunch of stuff underground that they cannot. So they have these mole people enslaved. And then our, archaeologists come down and, they kind of trick these ancient people into thinking that they're messengers of gods, and etc., so they can learn more about them and also not be killed. Because there's like a very delicate balance. Like they have to keep their population... I'm trying to remember what their population was. I think it was 120 people, and that's all they can have, because if they have any more than that, it'll mess up their resources, because their resources are so limited. They mostly eat, like, small, cave mammals and mushrooms is almost their entire diet. And they're all albino, except for people whose genetics line up the right way to be, like, more surface people, I guess you would call them. And there is one woman who's like that, and they call people who look like people on the surface marked. They believe that there is no surface. They believe that's just heaven up there, and etc. And, of course, one of the male leads falls in love with one of the marked women, and, they use their flashlight as a weapon, because the albino people can't stand the lights, not only because they've never really been out in the sun, but because they've evolved to just have their pupils, like, open super wide all the time, so their pupils don't adjust. Only the marked ones' pupils adjust because their genetics lined up correctly in the Punnett square to turn out, like modern surface humans. So they do that, and they're like, there's this constant threat to be thrown into the flame of Ishtar. Right? Which I feel like is the name of a flame in the Justice League cartoon, because the whole time I was sitting there like, Flame of Ishtar? Was that in the Justice League cartoon? Did the Justice League cartoon reference this movie? I need to look that up later. It only just hit me while filming, because the whole time I was watching it, I was like, Ishtar, the Flame of Ishtar, that's so familiar. And it kind of just hit me while talking to you guys about it that it was probably in the Justice League cartoon. I'll look that up later. But, eventually there's like a revolt of the mole people who actually help our main characters, because the mole people were good guys the whole time. They're a peaceful race. They were just enslaved, and whenever they attacked, it was because they were ordered to or attacked themselves. And I kind of called the ending, or at least the big twist. So big spoiler, The flame of Ishtar? It's just the sun. They just put you in the sunlight. That's the flame of Ishtar. And it'll kill these underground people, but, you know, it's just normal to us. So when our main characters get thrown into the flame of Ishtar, they just go outside and they're free. Like, so when the bad guys think they've defeated them, they actually gave them exactly what they wanted, which was to go home. Which I totally predicted. I called that. And they take that woman with them as well, the one who was a slave that they freed. And then that's where it gets kind of weird. So there appears to be an earthquake out of nowhere, which apparently seals the tunnel to that underground city. But at the same time, it also seems to kill the woman with no real confirmation, but it seems like she's died and the tunnel is sealed. And there's no dialogue saying this or anything, but that kind of implies that they're not going to have any proof. They're not going to have any proof about what they saw. You know, they're going to return back to the modern world without half of their party, because they're dead. Two of their party died throughout the course of this film. So they don't have her as proof. They just have their crazy story. They can't take them to that spot because it's been covered up via earthquake. And they don't tell you where the earthquake comes from or anything, but my headcanon for this earthquake is that after the mole people revolted, they started digging to bury their oppressor's city. That's my theory. But honestly, I think it was just random for the drama. And this film... this film kind of has a thing where it starts off with this guy like sitting in an office, and he gives you this big opening narration, and it's like so boring, and it's like, stop starting films like this, jeez. And I'm glad they did. They don't start films like that anymore. But yeah, so this movie was okay. You know, I thought it was alright. I'll watch it again at some point, but it's not some super grand, like, super memorable film. I thought the mole people looked cool. I really did. They had, like, moving mouths and stuff, and they had big old claws. I thought they were neat. I think moles are cool animals, so I thought these mole people were really cool as well. The film is fun. It's got some cool sets and stuff. The sets were real Star Trek-y, kind of. I really enjoyed it. But once again, could have been better. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll see you all next time.